Hey everybody, what's up? Chad Wesley Smith here for Juggernaut Training Systems, joined by Melissa Inda. And today we're going to be talking to you about the belt squat. How to do it, why to do it, when to do it. So as always, videos on this channel are brought to you by the JuggernautAI app, where you can get totally customized training for you based on your gender, age, height, weight, strength, experience. You're trying to gain weight, lose weight, where do you miss your bench press, where do you struggle in the squat, what's your sticking point in the deadlift, that and much more. Customizes the program based on all that and then continues to adapt to your feedback, making the smartest program for you. So you get a 2-week free trial of that down at the link in the description or at JuggernautAI.app. All right, so we've been going through this series, how, why, when. So if you've been seeing exercises on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, and you're not quite sure how to do it, why you should do it, or when you would include it in your training, check out this playlist and hopefully we've got some good answers for you. So today is going to be one of our favorites, the belt squat. So a belt squat can require some specialty equipment like this Rogue, Monster, Rhino, belt squat. There are a lot of different belt squat options out there, some more affordable than others. This has been my favorite that I have personally used. I like the cable-based one more. I think it allows for a more natural squat pattern compared to more of the lever-based machines, and you also don't have to go super heavy on it. Some of the, like a Pit Shark, which is kind of the first real prominent belt squat. You know, for me to do a belt squat workout on the Pit Shark, I'd probably need to put 800 plus pounds on it, you know, to do sets of like 6 to 10 reps. And frankly, I'm just not going to load that many plates, so I would probably just never use it. But this one has much more of like a one-to-one feel. So how to do the belt squat in this situation, I'll try and give some general tips for different types of machines. But when you're doing the belt squat, you want to get the belt low on your hips so it's kind of hanging off the top of your butt. Now, the more of a shelf you have, the better, you know, for, well, just in general, but also for belt squatting, so the belt can hang off there easily. Some people put it up too high and it kind of pulls them forward. I've never really seen someone put it too low, but I suppose you could. Might pull your pants off if you did it that way, which would have its own hilarious consequences. So with this Rhino belt squat, we're trying to get it so the point of the cable is like right between your midfoot, and you might kind of adjust this in between reps as you go. Our purpose of the belt squat is to put as much stress and load on our quads as possible while avoiding loading the low back. So we want to squat in a way where we keep our torso as upright as possible. So it's going to require us to have a more forward knee position and upright torso position as we go. So controlling the descent, squatting with great depth, you know, keeping the hands on the rack here, but avoiding turning it into a combination, you know, row and belt squat. Though I suppose you could do kind of like a Hatfield type of squat and get more of a nervous system overload with the belt squat. You know, mistakes we'll see with people belt squatting sometimes is that they keep too vertical of a shin position and start belt squatting like this in this very hip dominant pattern, but you can't actually do a real barbell squat like that. So if you're using this for the purposes of building your raw competition powerlifting squat, you want to keep the lower body mechanics, you know, pretty similar to what you do with the bar on your back, or accentuate the forward knee position to really put stress on the quads. And you could rig like this one where you have to pull the handles in to be able to squat to full depth. Sometimes we'll wrap a band around here, so as soon as you stand up, it holds itself in. And we could do that and maybe do a goblet squat and belt squat at the same time. That's gonna be challenging from a coordination and balance standpoint, but after a couple, you know, sessions of it, you can kind of get going well on that. As we're looking at how to do the belt squat, belt low on the hips, upright torso, forward knee. This, if you don't wear squat shoes, this would be a good time to wear squat shoes or to use wedges to elevate your heel. I could see some occasions outside of competition powerlifting where you want to make it more hip dominant if you're trying to use it as like a hip extension exercise rather than more of a squat variation. But, you know, try and make it look a lot like your normal competition squat from the lower body down. Now, why would you want to use the belt squat? Belt squat is a great option to build the strength of your quads in absence of loading your low back. So if you are someone who has a big deadlift compared to your squat, assuming you don't have, just this great deadlift build, very long legs, long arms, and kind of a bad squat build. But if you have sort of a normal type of build, it could be because your hamstrings, glutes, low back are much stronger relative to your quads. So while you could do front squats or high bar squats and try and be really strict with your technique in that, it's going to kind of keep that same relationship of relatively weak quads. But when you can eliminate loading the low back with an exercise like the belt squat, you're going to be able to put that much extra stress and workload onto your quads and help them kind of catch up and eliminate some of that strength discrepancy. Now, if you have a low back injury, but you still want to squat hard, belt squat's a great option for that. After I had a hernia surgery in 2019, I pretty much did just exclusively belt squats for about 6 months after that. And as I got back to squatting, my low back and abs had a little bit of time they needed to catch up, but my legs were, pretty much ready still to squat big weights, all from doing this. And if you're dealing with athletes who the barbell squat is not a part of their sport, like I train a lot of professional MMA fighters, and we pretty much exclusively use the belt squat as our primary lower body exercise. So great for loading the quads, great for saving the low back, great for working around injuries. And then there's a lot of different varieties of exercises, split squat variations, rows, that kind of thing that you can do with the belt squat as well. So when would you want to include this in your training? In the context of powerlifting, great hypertrophy option. You could be using it after barbell squatting variations to go with extra volume, kind of after your low back is fatigued, but maybe your legs could use some more work. It could be its own day. Similar use in a strength phase. In a peaking phase, belt squat's not going to have too much application unless you have someone who, they just can't tolerate the barbell squatting volume on their back or their arms in a low bar squat, but they need the extra volume to retain muscle mass in their legs. Through that lower volume peaking phase, you could add, maybe a set or two of belt squats throughout the week. But great variation, serves a lot of purposes, very simple to execute, simple to learn, and something that, I use this a ton with myself, with athletes that I train outside of powerlifting, but it's got applications for strength sport athletes, for team sport athletes, individual, I was about to say real athletes. I wouldn't want to make a misstep like that. Great application. So the belt squat, excellent exercise. You can do it standing up on blocks with a belt and loading pin is a more economical version than getting a piece of equipment like this. The kind of just hinge off of the side of the rack ones are okay. Those are similar to the lever ones in that they sort of fix you into a pattern that I don't love. It's not, the most accurate, I don't think, to really good barbell squatting, the way that raw lifters are going to be the most successful with, but better than nothing to use it for, the purposes of offloading the spine, avoiding some axial load while you get some good work on the legs. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to check out a 2-week free trial of the JuggernautAI app and get the smartest program for you down at the link in our description.